This is so surreal because I'm finally here on camera. So hi you guys, my name is Wenzdai. For those of you that know me, for those of you that don't, I am a love, sex, and relationship expert. Yeah, so I basically give dating advice. I did that from 2017. I threw my first dating mixer in LA and it was super successful. After that, I started giving blog topics on different things on like how to orgasm or just like a ton of things, how to squirt. It was some pretty wild ones, living together. So yeah, that's a little bit of my background, but I wanted to make this video. I like put this video out on my Instagram. Just like any profession, where they're just like doctors make the worst patients, or, you know, nurses, therapists, they make the worst patients. Sometimes the same goes for, you know, anybody who has a certain expertise. And basically it was just saying like, you know, I'm the one who's always advising people. I'm the one who always trying to help other people out and guide them and steer them in the right direction. But a lot of times my life is definitely not perfect, and I've experienced heartbreak a few times, but it's always been transformational for me. It's always been something that I learned a tremendous amount from. So this video is pretty much to learn more about me, but also for those people who are going through it right now. I completely understand what it feels like, and I hope you can find some solace in this video and you can find some help. My story began, I was one of those girls who was like in love with love. Like I've had my wedding plan on Pinterest for years, and I love my mom's wedding dress. I used to look at the wedding photos all the time. I used to like look at my neighbors and be like, oh my God, we're gonna get married one day. I used to have so many crushes in school. I remember one time there was this boy in like elementary school. His name was Matthew, and he was new. He was so cute. But Mariah Carey's Emancipation of Mimi had just came out, and like it was very clear he was not interested in me. And I think he ended up liking one of my friends, and I was just so heartbroken about it. Like in the newspaper, there's usually like little ads for like houses or like home supplies or cars, and I'd be listening to Mariah Carey and just being like, this could have been our house. These are our groceries for our kids. Like as if this story was just like broken or whatever. That definitely continued on, where I was just like noticing a pattern in middle school where it was just like I had these crushes on people. However, the energy was like not coming back to me. So I would just be sitting there thinking like, okay, I know I'm a great person. Maybe it's just like something I'm not showing out to the world. Maybe I just don't have enough money to transform into the girl who I want to be, or you know, maybe I just don't have those certain it factors, and I wanted to have those it factors so desperately. So this continued. I know you're like, oh, this girl, like she's pretty, whatever. You've seen a lot of you have seen my Instagram. I've been through the ringer. So after college, I'm working like 3 jobs in LA, and I'm finally like, okay, let me start to take people seriously. I had just went through a bout of celibacy, which I will definitely talk about in a later video. I was celibate for over 2 years, and so that's definitely something I want to share with you guys. However, this particular first story, this heartbreak was different. This was my first time really experiencing a true just one of those things that it was really hard for me to bounce back from. So let me go into that. Okay, so my sister used to go to school in Arizona. She went to college in Arizona, and she's like, oh my God, Wednesday, I think there's this guy, like you guys are kind of similar. I think you guys, you know, would have some chemistry. I think you guys would match. So I'm like, okay, bet. You know, I wanted to visit anyways. He had hit me up on social media. He DM'd me, and he was just like, oh, hey, he said something, I don't know, you guys be saying anything. So he said something, I'm not really paying him any mind. He comes out to LA, and I don't see him because like I'm more focused on my money, and I'm not really worried about hanging out with some guy. We're talking, I'm like, okay, he's kind of funny. He's kind of, you know, he's got a good personality. He's been dealing with me all this time, so let me go ahead and make my way. So I go to Arizona, and as soon as I get out of the car, what a ride. It literally was like 5 hours. 5 hours later, as soon as I get out of the car and he like comes outside to meet me, whoa. You want to talk about all the fireworks, all of the just like, I felt like I was in a daze, and I was like in a trance because I could not believe that I was having these kind of feelings. So I'm like dumb excited about this weekend now. The weekend goes by, and literally everything I felt initially, it just manifested itself. I was just like, whoa, this one's gonna be special. This one is magic. And I know you guys have felt like that just when you meet someone and it's just like, the stars definitely aligned in bringing you guys together. So I continued to visit him. Long story short, there were some red flags, some things that I noticed, some communication issues, a little bit of dishonesty that I'm just like, oh, these are just growing pains. These are just like, we don't really know each other well enough yet. So, I mean, we'll get through that. But I'm sitting here thinking like, this is my lifetime partner. This is my long-term partner. We're going to figure it out. Everything's going to be okay. To the point that I even considered like relocation, leaving California and moving to Arizona. However, mama knows best. And my mom would ask me questions about my relationship, or other people would ask me questions, and I didn't have all the answers. Or I would just be like, yeah, I guess I'm not really sure about certain things. So, you know, maybe I should gain some clarity about it. Until that fateful day and it was so crazy because me and my mom had actually got into like this huge fist fight, like crazy. She was like, do not go down there anymore. He is not right for you. He is not honest. He is not, like, all of these things. And I was just like, my mom has no idea. She doesn't know anything about this guy. And so, of course I go down there, and he's like, yeah, we need to talk. Long story short, I had to pull everything out of him in order to like kind of get the truth about it. And of course I got I just want to focus on myself. And this is not about other girls. This has nothing to do with anyone else. This just solely has to do with like, I need to do this for me. And am I falling for it? Of course I'm not, but I'm broken and I'm sad. So I leave, and everything goes downhill from there, to where I finally find out from like looking on Instagram, he supposed him and a lot of girls, and all of a sudden, like, I went to his page and there wasn't a lot of girls anymore. So I'm like, okay, cool, that's amazing. Until I like slide by one little comment and I see him like talking to someone, and yeah, let's just say I was up all night because I was broken at some of the things that I found. I go to her page, I literally see him on her page, and I'm like, how did he even have the time when I'm there and everything? You're always like that. How did they have the time? So I just want to talk a little bit about some of my post-breakup symptoms, because after you get your heart broken, after you guys break up, it's fair to say emotionally you can become a wreck. You can become extremely overwhelmed, extremely anxious. And I didn't even recognize this as anxiety. I didn't recognize this as like anything out of the ordinary, other than like I was hyper focused on experiencing anger and having like a lot of vengeful thoughts about this. But I didn't think, I just felt like it was a natural reaction. So some of my post-breakup symptoms, definitely snooping, definitely stalking on social media. Going through, checking every comment. Like I had a little bit of it obviously became a trigger because that was the way that I found out there was someone else. So then all of a sudden I'm addicted to seeing every comment. I'm addicted to seeing like what they're doing on this story. Like it took so long to even get to like a committing type of phase with me and this person. And literally 6 weeks later, what seemed like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever later, he posted her as like they're together. That's his girlfriend. And of course, that wasn't the communication that was going on with me. So yeah, so definitely the social media stalking, whatever you want to call it, snooping, addiction to checking and seeing what they're doing. The second one that I went through was trying to get their attention by any means necessary, because I was just thinking like, I'm on their brain 24/7. Their natural reaction is going to be jealousy, just because I'm so jealous right now. Their natural reaction is going to be, okay, look at what she's doing, look at what she's wearing, because I'm thinking they're still in love with me, you know? Yeah, that's not even the case. The more that you try to do things to get their attention, the more they really just like see you as pathetic. And it may catch their attention, however, they've moved on. They're like in a new place. So they're not even worried about what you're doing. It doesn't have the same effect. Yeah, like I said, I had a lot of vengeful thoughts, and which kind of was paired with my attention. But then obviously the depression sets in, and you are broken because you are sitting there like, I had this person, I saw a future with them, I care about them, they're my world, you know, I love them, and they're supposed to love me. They don't care about me anymore. So the depression sets in, and I was distracted. I would say that was my next post-breakup symptom, was completely being distracted and being debilitated. I could not do anything. I didn't want to speak to my family. I completely isolated myself. I was watching rom-coms back to back to back to back to back to try to see an ending that I hope would reflect mine in the future. You know, anything that kind of gave me a sense of hope or peace that things were going to turn around when it didn't. So after a long period of time, mind you, I had quit my job during this time. Like I said, I was planning for relocation. I was planning to move. Everything just like came to a halt. So during this time, I was extremely depressed. I wasn't doing anything, chilling, sleep, cry, listen to music, go check social media, go back to sleep, repeat. I didn't want to hang out with my friends or anything. So what did I do? I got fed up and I got tired, and I was doing that thing where you text them or they text you, because they do text you. They get really manipulative. So they text you and you're just like, okay, here's my time. It's finally my time to say something to them. Or you start off really calm. You're just like, hey, whatever. But then you're just like, didn't I tell them not to talk to me? Or don't they have their own life to live? Like, the audacity is just what you're thinking. Why are they sitting here having these things to say to me? So I remember being in one of those conversations, and I was just like, I can't take it anymore. I don't want to speak to you. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to, nothing. You've broken me, and you've like completely shattered my confidence. So let me just step away. I'm reading all the blogs. That's what they say. Like, step away, block them, do not talk to them, go no contact. And so I'm like, okay, it's my time to do that. It's my time to prioritize myself and get me back to where I need to go. So the first thing that I did in my post-breakup remedies, like to get me back to where I needed to go, was I definitely got a journal. And I had already had a journal because I could tell that this season of my life was about to teach me a lesson. So I already had a journal, and I was just kind of using it to talk about my bad days or something like that, but I wasn't consistent. And as soon as I had that last conversation where I'm like, I'm completely done and I just don't want to speak to you. You don't respect me anymore. I don't respect me clearly anymore. I'm really sad and I'm broken. I started writing a lot of those emotions and expressing those emotions. So literally whatever came up is what came up. And I actually found myself like writing a lot of Drake lyrics during that time. Like his album Views had just came out, and it was the same album that I was so excited about that summer, literally got me through the winter. Yeah, so I remember just like writing a ton of lyrics, like trying to express myself, trying to just like get whatever was in my mind out so that I could at least be honest with how I was feeling. And that was like the first key. The second thing was I needed to connect with someone who understood me. I didn't want to talk to my family. I just wasn't sure. I didn't want them to judge me. Like, I'm just that kind of person, and I'm sure you guys might be too, but like, I didn't want other people being like, she's so sad over this. Like, there's a ton of other people out there. You'll find someone. You hear kind of all of these things, like either you're good looking, you're going to find someone else, or they don't really understand that attraction and that attachment that you had to this person. So I scoured the internet. I'm like reading different blogs, and I find this girl. She lives all the way in Malaysia, and we become pen pals. But during that time, we were able to just like talk about what we were going through very honestly and authentically. And although it wasn't the same situation, I just felt like I had a shoulder to lean on, and she had a shoulder to lean on. I wanted to be strong for someone else during like such a painful time. So that also made me feel a little bit more confident that I was able to do it for myself. Some of the things that I ended up saying to her, I was just like, wow, I needed that advice. That worked out really well. Just being able to talk to someone that wasn't inside of my circle, but definitely understood where I was coming from. I had read online about mantras and energy and everything like that. And so I just made it a habit. And I think it's a great practice to make it a habit to say something, have an affirmation, to say something to yourself every single day that, or whenever you can, that propels you to move forward. So for me, my mantra during that time was, my heart will go on. My heart will go on. I said that all the time. And even when I was just like so broken, I didn't want to say that. I was just like still holding on hope, even though it was the most hopeless situation possible. I was just like, my heart will go on, my heart will go on. I'm like writing it all over the place. Whenever I see something that reminds me of the person, you have so many of these triggers, and I would be doing something or eating something that reminded me of the person that I was with, and I would just be like, my heart will go on, my heart will go on. And eventually my heart did go on. But yeah, so just having affirmation, having a very specific one to guide you and lead you in the direction that you honestly want to go. And I had to find a lot of respect for myself during that process, because I just kept thinking, how is it that I've given my all to someone and they're not able to reciprocate that back? They don't want to. They are not interested in, sharing this special love with me that I thought that we found. And I honestly had a breakthrough one day where I was just like, I am able to nurture and care and give all of this love to someone else, even when it's not returned to me. So I just found a specialness about myself to be able to do that, to be able to care for others. I am the lover, it's not just that I'm this broken person because I don't feel like someone loves me. I'm actually a great person to be able to care for someone else, to love bravely and fiercely in the face of the unknown. So, in spite of my fears, I still love. So I found a lot of respect for myself, and it became something that I was able to turn around into like a high point about myself. So during that time, you like want to kind of start racking up, why am I special? Why am I important? Why do I deserve love? You're looking to find that worth within yourself when it feels like it's been taken away from you. Like you're worthless because you don't have this person's affection and attention anymore. My ability to love and care for others, my ability to reflect inward or like introspectively look inside of myself and see, okay, well, what am I doing wrong? Or wow, I'm kind of acting like a victim in this case, right? Because a lot of times because we've been betrayed, we speak a narrative that we are the victims. And I didn't want to keep seeing myself as that. I don't want to enter into a new partnership or a new relationship and the person just sees me as like, oh, you go into situations and you aren't able to see the good in them, you aren't able to learn from them, you aren't able to grow from them. So those were a lot of my post-breakup ways that I was able to get through it until I was back out in society. I had the confidence that I needed just to recognize how beautiful of a person I am, to recognize not only their mistakes, but my own mistakes that I made, some of the pressures that I put on them, some of the ways that I just wasn't honest with myself to say like, hey, this isn't really what you're into, or, you know, having the courage to like rein it back a little bit, become a little bit, I don't want to say unavailable, but just, you know, a little less available until I felt comfortable and I was able to trust the situation and trust the actions of this person. From that, I was able to, and so many other things that I definitely talk in my social media and my guides about that I'm able to help you guys. And at the end of this video, I definitely have something for you. I just created this course. You know, I've experienced so much and it's grown me and it's transformed me. And I'm finally at the place where I'm ready to share with you guys and give you everything I know to get you on track to being your best self and being the confident you. It always sucks when I hear you're attractive or you're so smart or you have this, you have that, so don't even worry about it. It feels like it's an impossible feat. It doesn't matter who you are or what your status is or anything like that. When heartbreak comes knocking at your door, it comes in and it's a whirlwind and it will leave no trace of who you are or who you have been or what you've known for the last amount of time that you've been with this person. So yeah, this is what I have. If you are interested, if you or someone you know are going through heartbreak right now, now is the time. Please go ahead and click that link and I cannot wait to help you.